Hey there, everybody. This is Tim with the NFC North Monsters. Welcome back to the 2026 NFL season. Preseason starts here for the Chicago Bears this Saturday at 11 a.m. with the Cleveland Browns. Right now, I'm kind of watching the Broncos game. It's on my TV here behind me. Try not to get too much of that so YouTube doesn't shut me down. But a lot of news lately. It's been kind of crazy with the Bears. They haven't had a nice quiet off season compared to the Vikings drama with JJ McCarthy and Pipsqueak Murray. Um, that was such a joke with their whole quarterback competition that they have up there in Minnesota. That was we all knew it was Kyler Murray. JJ McCarthy is probably going to be out of Minnesota at the end of this year if they don't try to trade him before the trade deadline. But I don't think that's really worked out. Kevin O'Connell really didn't want him. That was more of a GM uh, draft pick there. But Kevin O'Connell tried to do his best with him, and well, that is what it is. Then we have the Green Bay fucktards. I mean Packers. They've had quite the offseason as well. The Josh Jacobs drama, the Micah Parsons issues with his recovery. They were set on 6 weeks, and now it's looking like might be out even longer. But we'll see. I mean, honestly, the biggest threat in the NFC North, besides the Bears, is going to be the Detroit Lions. Although I will be interested to see how their offense comes about. It's a new OC this year up there in Detroit. But no, I'm just super stoked. Preseason starting. Wanted to come live. It's been a while. I apologize. I've been out and about. Just haven't had the ideas to come forth with the show. But no, I enjoy you all, the ones that have liked and subscribed and follow me. Um, I'm not a big X's and O's guy. I will admit that. Um, Once again, I started this channel because of my boys that I admire a lot. Tape Never Lies, Shane Marshall, and Phil Atoshin. Those guys, even Ivan Vargas, Cars, all those guys are great. But they're the ones that gave me the courage to do this, even though they don't know they did it. Shane kind of put something out on one of his on one of the shows that they had that put your money where your mouth is and sign up for StreamYard if you're going to be so brave. But no, I'm an active member of TTNL. I follow them. I hope I don't copy them. Um, their format's awesome. They have Bears Hour Live after every game. They have the pre-show with Ivan. I love Cars Keys. Love hearing what Cars has to say. But anyways, I don't want to give those guys too big of heads. I'm kidding. They're great guys. I wish I could beat them, but this is how we do things. But yeah, I usually talk a little bit about the whole NFC North in general. But today's focus is just mainly just getting back into the groove. It was a long off season. Felt like it was an eternity. The draft was what it was. I wish we would have done more in the trenches on the defensive side of the ball. Although it does seem like the Vanilla Gorilla is going to be one to watch this Saturday, so I'm super excited to see how he does. Also, I mean, our seventh round draft pick, he's doing great. But yeah, I mean, everything seems to be going well. Injuries are starting to pile up. Kind of a bummer, but let's start with today's news and Mr. Kevin Warren. And I feel like he mumbled and fumbled his way through that presser today. And what a fucking joke of a announcement for a stadium. We all know it's probably going to be Hammond, Indiana, or Arlington Heights. You saw some shit today that Roger Goodell was secretly meeting with the Illinois legislation to try to keep the Bears in Chicago. But I just like to also say that Mr. Warren also looks kind of like Mr. Otter. Um, so it was just an embarrassment. You really didn't have anything to say. that impacted what was going to go on with the stadium, other than we're back to is it not happening? The Wolf Lake, Lost Marsh area seems like they're trying to do a package deal down there. I'm not sure if there's the regulations there with the government owning property, the defense department there, and as well as there's some possible EPA issues with the oil tankers in the area. But I know when I was listening to CHGO and Greg Braggs, who lives in that area, was discussing some of those things. Even Carm and Adam Hodge, or Hodge, I mean, they were talking about those. But I'll give credit where credit's due with those guys as well. But anyways, honestly, if the Bears move to Indiana, it's not that big of a deal. It's not end of the world. You know, it's many franchises are moving outside of their metropolis areas or even their states. However, you know, like I said, I was watching the Denver Broncos game. I'm just going to talk about that real quick. That they are moving full steam ahead on a brand new stadium, kind of in a rail yard area. And at least the state of Colorado is embracing and the city of Denver is embracing this new stadium. But a lot of it, too, is the fact that they have winning teams. Dallas plays in Arlington, but they've had a winning culture. They have Super Bowls. The Chargers and the Rams don't play in LA. They play in Inglewood. But once again, there's the championship Rams, and Chargers were competitive there for quite a while. Unfortunately, they moved out of San Diego, which I feel like still deserves a team. But let's talk about that too. The San Diego wasn't going to get out of that Qualcomm Stadium, and it's just the way it is. You know, then they get frustrated and they move on. You know, that's what teams do. They get frustrated, much like the Oakland Raiders. They dinked around in Oakland forever of trying to get a stadium, and never happened. And then they eventually moved to Vegas. You know, these things happen with these franchises. They're not just a football team. They are a football business. You're talking about billions and billions of dollars of these teams, and they have to run them like businesses. If they don't, then they're doing themselves a disservice. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not mad at George McCaskey for what he's saying, what he's doing. I'm a little more upset with Kevin Warren, even though George did say that Kevin wasn't brought here to build a stadium. It's what he did in Minnesota. He built the stadium in Minnesota and got that done. I didn't realize it took 11 years for that stadium to get built. Kind of really hoping that that's not the case here with the Chicago Bears. I would like to see that stadium get built before I'm dead. But that's, neither here nor there. But yeah, so anyways, that just my take on it. I understand that if you live in Indiana, you're probably super excited, or maybe not because of the property taxes and other taxes, tolls, everything else that might pop up. I mean, they are the pride and joy in Illinois, and I mean, I really would like to see this stadium built in Arlington Heights. They have the land. It looked like they're going to build a really cool Chicagoland area, a whole town basically. And I think that would have been cool to go to see that vision come to fruition. Honestly, if you ask me, that's my choice. If you're not going to be in Chicago, Arlington Heights would be my number one choice. But once again, this has been dragging on now for 4 years. Hard Knocks, they're picking out chairs and everything else, talking about building this stadium that we have yet to see a shovel in the ground for. It's just frustrating. So that's the hot take on there. George kind of was a little bit of a fiery today in that press conference, or I guess yesterday, sorry, in that press conference. But just kind of saying that no matter where the Bears move, they'll still be the Chicago Bears, which obviously makes sense because that's the brand. It's the Chicago Bears. It's not the Hammond Hamsters. It's not the Indiana Bears. It's not the Hammond Bears. It's the Chicago Bears. And it's not going to be the Chicago Indiana Bears, like someone talked about earlier, that they're going to try to include the Indiana name in the Bears. It's not going to happen. The most that's going to happen is that the P.O. box or the mailing address will say Indiana. But Halas Hall will remain in Chicago, in that area. Thus, shut up. The 8 games are going to be played outside of Chicago. But it's going to be a world-class stadium when it does get built. I'm glad that McCaskey kind of also shut down the whole bear weather nonsense, which it was just really nonsense. I liked how he said that the warm weather team came in and got the W. And that's true. I mean, Bears weather is not beneficial to the Bears. It's the same weather that the other team plays in. They're a little more used to it in Chicago, but it doesn't mean that these guys have never seen snow in their life. These college players that get drafted or signed to the NFL have played in cold weather environments before. It's not like some huge shocker. But yeah, so let's talk about the exciting game against the Steamers. I mean the Browns. So yeah, we have Cleveland 11 a.m. tomorrow. Super excited. There's a lot of players I like to see. I'm glad that our starters are sitting for the most part. Caleb's not going to play. You're not going to see Luther Burden. You're not going to see Rome Odunze. You're not going to see probably Montez Sweat. You're not going to see DeAndre Swift. Because, I mean, honestly, there's the injuries. Yeah, Luther Burden, who suffered that groin injury, and I do like the fact that these say that who the sources are from. It's Yahoo Sports. But from what I heard, he was doing pretty good walking around at an event that the Bears had at a high school. Tyreek Stevenson, he banged up his lower back and hip doing the same drill. But he has a lot to prove this year. I think Tyreek Stevenson's on the hot seat moving forward, but not nearly as much as Mr. Kyler Gordon. I really feel like Ben Johnson's going to be getting rid of his ass if he can't get on the field and contribute. I would say if Kyler Gordon is not in preseason game number 3, you're probably not going to see him week 1 or week 16. They will either bench his ass or trade him or outright release him and just eat the dead cap money with that one. Cam Lewis, who we brought in, sounds like he does have an injury that's going to probably prolong him for a little bit. Braxton Jones, he's another one that's probably on his way out of this team. Even though he's not starting on Saturday, which I feel like he might need to at least start pregame number 3 just to get some reps in. But Kareem Amagaji has a lot to prove. On the plus side, it sounds like Ozzie Trapillo is coming back a lot faster than what anyone anticipated. So that'll be nice to see if he comes back. And, we have Montez Sweat there. They do list him as questionable. I would say he's probably not playing. Kobe Bryant, that one's a bummer. I would have liked to see what he could have done right out of the gate, helping on our draft pick. Coaching him, teaching him how to play to the NFL level. But this is where we're at. And then we have 3 more injuries down there as well. Dallas Flowers, KC. I'm horrible at names. Javarvis Owens. But they're all placed on IR after Saturday's practice. So I would say that's probably going to be 3 roster spots getting cleaned up here before too long. And 3 new signings coming in. I do have to say that it does feel like Kevin Warren did have a good point. He did mention that Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson are on the same page. It seems like they're working together well as a team. It's nice to see that. It does really feel like there's a lot of energy now in Chicagoland with the Bears. It's not the old "oh woe is me," but the offense now is farther along than the defense. Um, I still feel like though that the Bears may make the move for Max Crosby. I mean, we'll we'll see if it's not by week one, maybe by the trade deadline. But I do feel like they're in Vegas that Crosby's trying to express that he doesn't want to freaking be there anymore. Punching out Cole's cash, Kirk Cousins. It is what it is. But you know, I know he didn't punch him out, but it's still there's this little skirmish there. But I watched Vegas's preseason game last night with Mendoza that came out and played. Not as bad as I thought he was going to be. His timing was pretty good on his passes. But all in all, we'll see how he progresses in the NFL. It's definitely his job to lose, which he's not going to lose to Kirk Cousins, but Cousins will probably start the season up until probably week 2, 3, 4 in that range. I would imagine before weeks 5 or 6, you're going to see Mendoza take the reins and run with it. But that's AFC shit. Who cares? I mean, they are a great division, great conference. They have some good teams in there, but it's Bears season, man. Let's talk about that. But what's everyone's thoughts? Where do you think the Bears are going to wind up? Do you think we're going to Arlington Heights? Do you think we're going to Hammond? Do you really care where they go? Or are you just like me and just build the fucking stadium and let's get going? Just tired of the days of our lives drama that keeps unfolding. It's tiring. I just want Bears football. I want Bears championships. I feel like we're starting to get that direction and are going in that direction to eventually get that championship here in Chicago. That's been long overdue. I definitely don't feel like this is the hangover like with Matt Nagy, where we were all super excited going into the season and then they just lame duck their asses all the way through the season. I don't really feel like Ben Johnson's that type of coach. I feel like Ben Johnson's going to shove the rock down people's throats, and if it's 100-10, he doesn't care. He'll go 107-10. He just wants to keep racking up those points, and that's great to hear. That we actually have a coach that wants to succeed. I mean, after Eberflunk and Nagy and Trestman and Fox and God, how many other shitty coaches have we had to sit through? And not only that, but the regimes, the Ryan Pace regime. Oh, yes, Ryan Poles has his faults, but I really don't know who all Ben Johnson had to say in and Dennis Allen had to say in with this year's draft, but I wish the first round we would have gone more of defensive line or tried to trade up to get some of the more premium players. That was the only disappointment, but we'll see how Dylan Thiedemann does. I have hope in him. That I've heard that he's struggling a little bit, but that's a rookie. He's got 3 weeks to figure it out of practices, and he's definitely going to be playing in the preseason because he's got to get his feet wet and get that cherry popped. But he'll get there. I feel like picking up Xavier Woods, older corner there to help coach him along. That'll be good. I did see Jaquan Brisker doing some stuff up in Pittsburgh. Wish he would have done a little more here in Chicago to stay here. But I felt like he also was ready to go. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised though to see the Gordon get released. I'm kind of excited though to see some younger players getting into it this weekend. I'm very excited. I'm definitely gonna be checking out Bears Hour Live after the game to see what Shane and Phil have to say about what they saw to see if maybe what I'm seeing lines up with what their vision of what they were seeing. But no, it's just gonna be great. I'm gonna try to do weekly shows again. Probably try to do recaps on Wednesdays, maybe Tuesdays. Um, just I'm always out of town for work on Mondays, so it's really hard for me to get back into the groove on Tuesdays. But that's personal. That's is what it is. I do this for fun. But yeah, I really hope that eventually I can start reaching out to more and more fans out there. I am Tim with the NFC North Monsters. I have also a TikTok that I do as well on with the NFC North Monsters handle. Uh, just trying to get more engagement out there. If you ever want to join this show and come on and we talk Bears, we talk just football, fantasy football, whatever you want to talk about, that's fine. I will more than happily invite you onto the show. I'll send you the link and we could chit chat and talk. I mean, I'm just a schmo and with a mic and a camera and a little bit of confidence to try to do this. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to try to do some more fun stuff and see if I can get some different visuals and so on. And I'm working on my studio here at my house to try to get it a little more presentable, but that's going to take some time, maybe a new house. But no, I'm excited. Bear down, everybody. This is just, let's go. It's football time. And we'll just call it short tonight. Thank you for listening to me ramble for 20 some minutes. But yeah, drop comments. Let me know. I will definitely reach out to anybody who comments to me. Good, bad, ugly, I don't care. But for me personally, I'm going to go head up to the Sturgis rally now. Enjoy the last night of the rally. And it's time for some Bears football tomorrow. So have a good night, everybody. Bear down, and let's go.